Okay, game 2 of our second semifinal. Starting in the bottom left corner, your red Terran player, he's down 0-1. It's Jams!
And at the bottom right, usually a Terran player, but first play Protoss versus Terran. It's Moxie. Moxie Legend. Same thing.
Same thing. Same thing, same thing. Alright. And as I was saying about this map, it's a little different. It's only a 2-player map, but they both start on the same side of the same kind of side of the map. They're not cross positions. This natural has 2 entrances actually. A wide choke here that you're initially going to be using, and then if you would like to mine out these little mineral patches that only have 16 minerals each, it gives you a nice little back door over here to this third, which is only minerals, but does have a good number of patches. I actually have full 8 patches here for the third. Now, if you want a third gas, you have to go up here. So, kind of a crazy game. It can be pretty tough to get into the late game on this map because of just the sheer distance and the amount of open space there is. These huge ramps leading up these various kind of terraces. And then there's this kind of weird map base up at the top that kind of can be for anybody. And some pretty cool doodads. So, look at that thing. That's pretty cool. Pretty neat. So, Jams quickly getting his gas this game. not wanting to get it stolen again.
This map kind of reminds me of Scrap Station, one of the very first StarCraft 2 maps.
Ah, yeah.
Upside down.
Except upside down, and there's no I don't know. The rush distance is automatically short instead of having a long distance that then becomes a short distance. So, yeah, very short rush distance here. This map. So pretty aggressive. A lot of just 2 base versus 2 base style play on this map. You can get a third, but it's not going to give you a gas. And even this third alone can be pretty hard to handle just because of how wide open it is. I mean, there's so much space to attack it from. So, I especially don't like this against Zerg, just because I don't know. Not a lot of places to really build like any kind of nice walls or anything like that. So, but a unique map, and it's nice to have unique maps in the map pool.
I was gonna say something, but I totally spaced out. Oh, dang it.
You've ruined everything, man.
Oops, Starport on the way for Jams.
Yeah, he might be going for some quick cheesy Banshee play or Vulture drops or something cool like that. Dragoon is going to come up here and actually see this though. So unfortunately he built that pretty dang close to the ramp. Not sure if Moxie clicked on Starport or not, but he should have been able to see it. Let's double check that real quick. So yeah, he could see it coming up. It all depends on if he clicked on it or not.
We saw a building. It could have been a second factory.
Yeah, it wasn't obvious what it was yet at that point.
Yeah.
So that factory was not making a tech lab; it's making vultures. So that tells me that it's probably, yeah, we gave up the dropship on the way. So it is going to be vulture drops here for Jams. And these 3 Marines should be enough to hold off these Dragoons with that high ground miss chance. Maybe 1 vulture comes out. So. He sees a starport, he sees the vultures, he should have an idea of what's on its way. Look at all those misses! Oh my word! This is kind of a lesson in futility or something along those lines.
It's almost
4 Terran units can't kill these Dragoons. So maybe not the most well executed attack here. And Moxie still got both these Dragoons alive. Or not the most well executed defense is what I should be saying. And Moxie, Jam's just gonna send those units. Send them.
Orbital command does finish, but tank was already pretty much done anyway, so overcharge wouldn't have done too much.
Yep. And these Dragoons are completely ready. He knows what's coming. And we do have an observer out, just in case there are mines on the way as well. So Jam's going to have to retreat out of there. In the meantime, Nexus is coming down here. And there's a couple more Dragoons. He's out of boost. Or whatever it's called. What is that called? Ignite Afterburners? Is that right?
That's what it is in StarCraft 2.
I believe that's what it's called here too.
Yep, Ignite Afterburner. So nothing too crazy anymore for both players. Both players kind of being a little passive after that silly early game shenanigans.
Those are quite the shenanigans there. So, Advanced Center finishing up from Jams here. He's going to once again try to sneak his dropship in, but those Dragoons are still there, and there is an observer here to spot as well. So, Moxie should have seen that coming in, and the Dragoons scared away. And at this point, this dropship doesn't have enough health left to take more than one Dragoon shot.
Siege mode is finished,
so Jam's able to get his natural up. So does Moxie, and players on relatively even food counts and worker counts. So, despite all the silliness of earlier, we have ourselves a relatively even game at this stage. Spider mines are on the way. Good thing to have as a Terran player.
Yeah, what Jams is doing reminds me quite a bit about a Terran player who's very near and dear to my heart. He won't be named though, but
if you like him, you can say it. Who he is?
No, it's fine. There's a Terran player who usually gets 1 or 2 tanks, and then starts mines and a bunch of vultures. But Jam's going a different variation. No big deal.
No big deal. A little more tank heavy.
Yeah.
It's always good to have a reasonable mix of the two. Though here in the mid to early game, a big number of vultures can be really good. Especially if the Protoss is looking to expand a decent amount. Vultures do not have speed yet, as just started. Oh, don't let them fight! Don't let them fight, run away. Now these Dragoons do have an observer escort, so not going to be caught off guard by any mines. And actually, these Dragoons could engage this bunker because these tanks are not close enough to actually hit them.
I'm dropping the natural.
Oh,
5 workers.
We have a warp prism with 4 zealots in it too here, available to bulldog their way in here. So Moxie might just try to come in here and push and break this. So here come the zealots. Drop 1, drops 2, drops 3, drops 4. Unfortunately, did not drop them directly on top of the tanks, and Jams does a good job of unsieging his units right when he needed to. So, but now the Dragoons can come in, but they're going to get pushed back. And nice defense from Jams. Really good job of seeing that prism coming in and switching out of siege mode. Very cool. So Moxie trying to break him, finds that he can't break him with that little attack, so he's going to go ahead and get his third.
I think this is a very smart play.
Yeah, reasonable play. Jam's going to go ahead and mine out these 2 little mineral patches here. So he can start developing a little safe channel to go set up his own third as well. Meantime, what do we see coming up? We have our Twilight Council on the way. I almost call it Twilight Citadel because sometimes words get mixed up. The Citadel of Adun.
Adun is a funny word, I gotta say.
Dune. I like to run down dunes. Climb up dunes.
I hadn't thought of it that way, but okay.
Now you have. That was a very Chris response.
Oh, Chris. What a great guy.
Alright, so the Zealot leg enhancements are on their way, as is Protoss ground weapons level 1. And Jams is working on his armory, which just now finished. So both players getting their thirds. Moxie, as you expect, getting his a little bit ahead of the Terran player. So this is actually a relatively quick third from Jams. But he was able to take it without really having to spread himself too thin, because Moxie is completely on his own side of the map. Not really trying to deny it at this stage. So do have the observer scouting around, just going to check and see, make sure there's no crazy bases coming up hidden around the world. the map, the world. I was reading what Born was saying in chat. He's talking about the world and North America and just being an insufferable American right now. So one cannon here in the middle line. These vultures need to try to hide a little bit better. Get a few probes, and then they're going to get cleaned up, no problem.
3 more workers killed. Not bad.
Yeah. And actually, Moxie has not killed a worker, but Jams has killed 8. Not bad at all. So the vulture's doing a decent job of being active and planting mines around the map. You never know, you might be able to catch some dragoons who don't have an observer with them, which these ones actually do not. There is an observer over here, but they don't, not necessarily following the dragoons here, so gotta be careful here. But with this many dragoons, as long as they're on attack move, they should be able to clean up most numbers of dragoons, or most numbers of mines. So a couple of tanks here, but not enough to necessarily. Ooh, a couple of mine heads do go off there on those dragoons. And oh, he does get the zealot drop down here. And yeah, this space, they're gonna have to run away. He's gonna lose some SCVs here. He's also gonna float that command center away. Don't think he'll lose it. He could though if he doesn't pull a repair, but yeah, he's getting them up there to repair right away. So dragoons going through a tiny choke. They don't really want to do that. Gotta be careful. Almost loses the warp prism. So Moxie, good job, has gone ahead and denied this third. Oh, SCV, no. There's a couple of them. Like, what's mine? Let me face the danger.
Those are some dedicated SCVs, I have to say.
Yeah. Is that from Warcraft 3? Let me face the danger? Let me face the peril? I feel like that's like a grunt or something says that. Could be totally wrong.
I actually never played Warcraft 3. Or I did briefly, and I played Night Elf, so...
I never really played it competitive multiplayer. I never got it, because coming from StarCraft and then just not really understanding what I was doing, I was just like, oh man, I'm just going to build a bunch of the good unit, but with the upkeep and then the heroes and all that kind of stuff, it didn't play like StarCraft at all, so I just became frustrated with it.
Yeah, very, very different game altogether.
Yep. And here come the zealots running in, getting right up on top of the tanks. Unfortunately, there are no mines there at the front to keep those away, and so we just have a lot of protests charging in here, getting a lot of work done, losing so many SCVs. Gonna wind up losing all of his units here. Uh-oh. Computer started to lag.
Oh no, I'm not.
I think it was just graphics or something.
Oh,
Too many things exploding at once. Might need to turn them back down to medium. Medium's so awful though.
Dude, medium's great. Also great as this Protoss army. Oh, GG.
Yeah. Alright, Moxie with the crushing blow. So Moxie does take a 2-0. He'll be moving on to our finals.